Hi everybody. For those of you who don't know me, because these videos tend to get shared a bit, my name is Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and I am the creator and founder of the Galveston Diet. I am also a mom. I have two daughters. One is almost 20. I used to say two teenagers, but I'm not going to be able to say that much longer. Catherine will be 20 in August, so next month. And my youngest, Maddie, is 16, going on 38. So I live in Galveston, Texas, which is why I named my program the Galveston Diet after the place I've chosen to call home. I still practice medicine pretty part-time because most of my time is spent working with my students in the Galveston Diet. So I'm coming on live today to talk to you guys about the menopausal middle, 2020, and everything it has wreaked havoc on our lives, and how that is sabotaging our efforts for trying to be as healthy as possible and what you can do about it. So I have 35,000 students enrolled in our program, and lots of people have done insanely well on the program, but a lot of people are hitting plateaus and are reaching out to me frustrated that they are not gaining on the Galveston Diet, but they are hitting plateaus. And let me line up and be the first in line to say, I put on weight during COVID that I didn't want to. And I have hit a plateau. So 2020 has been tough. There is not a single one of us that has not been affected by the pandemic, by COVID, by shutdowns, by kids being home, by parents not being able to visit loved ones, by job security, loss of jobs, doubling up on work for those of us who still have jobs, pay cuts, mortgages, car notes, all the things that don't go away. What are we going to do with our kids? How are we going to educate them? What's the best thing to do? All the civil unrest, having to address some pretty tough realities in our world right now. And that is wreaking havoc with our lives, with our psyches, and with our bodies. So, let's pretend we're in 2019, okay? It's your normal life. You have your normal stresses. You have your occasional bumps in the road, and you're in the midlife and going through midlife changes. So there's something I like to call the perfect storm of inflammation that happens to us when we're going through a midlife change. And that is three things that are happening. One, our hormones, at least for us women and men as well, our hormones are changing greatly. We go through puberty, we go through massive hormone changes. Our bodies change, our worlds change. We rock our parents' worlds. My teenagers did it to me. I'm sure I did it to mine. And the opposite of that, Alexa, off. She just picked up my iPhone. It's so crazy. So that was Alexa in the background. So hormones are changing. So think of it, I want you guys to realize that menopause is what your body's going through in the menopause and the transition can last 7 years, is rocking your world just as much as it did in puberty. So these hormone changes do lots of things, but what we're realizing on the medical side of things is it also causes inflammation changes in the negative, okay? Bad inflammation changes. When they looked at inflammatory markers, so things called cytokines, IL-6, interleukin, measurable blood levels that measure chronic inflammation, they went up in women in menopause independent of age. So if you took two 44-year-old women who were otherwise really well matched, okay, except one was in menopause and one was not. The one woman that was in menopause had much higher inflammatory markers. Okay, so we know that that's going on. When you replace that hormone with hormone replacement therapy, those inflammatory markers don't really drop. Now, lots of things get better with HRT if you need it. And, as a physician, I'm not here to give medical advice, but That's an individual conversation between you and your doctor. I am on some HRT, a very, very low dose, okay? And I'll be 52 next month. But again, I know that it's not helping my chronic inflammation levels, but it is helping my sleep and bone strength and a few other things, okay? So you give back the estrogen through, supplementation, either bioidentical or not. Inflammation levels don't get better. So this is something going on a systemic level, just, not really having to do with the production of estrogen. It's really kind of cool from a science standpoint. So that's the first thing. Hormone levels are changing. Number two, just the aging process. We are not meant to live forever. None of us are getting out of here alive, okay? Simply the aging process alone, which tends to accelerate as we hit this age, causes chronic inflammation levels to go up, okay? As our cells start shutting down, as our processes, as the enzymes don't work, as our bodies don't work as efficiently, your inflammation levels are going to go up. So rising inflammation levels also cause visceral fat deposition where you may have never had it before. One of the biggest things that my patients would tell me, they would grab their bellies and shake them at me and say, I am gaining weight in my middle and I don't understand why. And it was almost universal. Very, very few women got through the menopause changes or the midlife changes without saying that to me. And so we end up in this traffic circle that's moving faster and faster. Hormone levels are changing, inflammation levels are going up. We're starting to accelerate the aging process, inflammation levels are going up. Higher inflammation levels lead to this visceral fat production. Just the fact that you have visceral fat, that is the dangerous fat that gets deposited between our organs on the inside. Not the skin fat. Like, I'm starting to get some subcutaneous fat deposits. Hang on one second. Let me go turn off Alexa. I think my daughter keyed on to it. I'm going to unplug her. Okay, sorry. Real life here. I'm at my house. My kids and I share the cloud, and crazy things happen from time to time. So that dangerous inside fat, that fat is highly, highly, highly inflammatory. So you end up in this swirling vortex of rising chronic inflammation. And it's this negative feedback cycle, because as those inflammation levels are going up, you're getting this middle fat deposition. And that fat itself is also causing inflammation levels to go up. So, like, what can we do? What? I mean, okay, Haver, Dr. Haver, what the hell am I going to do about it? So there's a great article. I'll post a link in the comments below. And it was one of the biggest eye-openers when I was doing research for the Galveston Diet. And it talks about chronic inflammation and the treatments for it. And so when I flip back to the treatment section, not one medication, nothing. It was the most exciting thing I've ever seen. Had nothing to do with giving your body a pill to fix the problem. It was 100% nutrition based. And I was absolutely mind blown. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm not, because in medical school, we're taught a lot of pharmacology. We're taught, and there's great needs for medications. I take, Celebrex occasionally. I take, I need stuff from time to time. But for chronic inflammation, which is linked to 7 out of the 10 leading causes of death for women our age, it's nutrition based. And I died. I was like, so when I developed Galveston Diet, I knew that I had to figure out, using these nutrition based principles, how to help lower our inflammation levels. So, getting rid of the things that cause inflammation. And, it's the second pillar of the Galveston Diet. And it's learning about all of the things that we've probably been eating and thinking we're fine our whole lives. And that at this age, when we're starting to hit this traffic circle and it's moving faster and faster, we just can't eat these things anymore. That is going to cause our inflammation levels to get worse and add to the speed of this circle going. Taking those things away and adding in more of the things that naturally fight inflammation. Okay, it's why, it's not rocket science. It is fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, and really doing a deep dive into looking at sources of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids and the saturated to unsaturated fat ratios. All of those things work synergistically together. And it's not just a one-time meal. It's a pattern of eating. It's doing this more often than you don't, okay? The greatest studies on nutrition are actually looking at not like supplementing with one little thing here and there. It's actually looking at full patterns of eating. And it's crazy when you look at the traditional Western diet. What most people in the United States eat is a highly inflammatory dietary pattern. And so what I do in Galveston Diet is teach you how to undo that and reverse that so that your dietary pattern now switches to one that is anti-inflammatory. The first pillar of the Galveston Diet is utilizing fasting to lower those inflammation levels as well. And the data coming out, first it was a fad, but when they looked at people who practice fasting as just part of their culture or their religion, their inflammation levels were dramatically decreased versus people who lived in the same indigenous area, basically ate the same diet and did not practice fasting. And so they started doing experiments, started with animals and checking inflammation levels, checking visceral fat deposition, and that all got better. It all got better. So if you've never practiced intermittent fasting, I highly recommend it. It's free. It's easy. It seems scary as hell if you've never done it, but because you're like, oh my God, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breaking your fast is very important. What's not important is when you do it. What's not as important as you think is you don't have to do it within 30 minutes of waking up. So first pillar, intermittent fasting. Second pillar of the Galveston Diet, anti-inflammatory approach to nutrition. Take out the things that cause inflammation, add in more things that fight it. And the third pillar I call fuel refocusing, teaching our bodies to break the horrific addictions that we have to simple and processed carbohydrates. So learning to stop thinking about calories and start thinking about the quality of the food that we are eating. It's amazing. So here's what's also happening in COVID. So that's 2019. That worked great in 2019. People are like, yeah, I'm loving this. I'm losing all, belly fat's gone. I'm sleeping better. It's all good. Now we're going to throw in some of the worst upheaval our generation has ever seen as a nation, as a world, and probably in a few generations, the stress. It's terrible. It's terrible for me. It's terrible for my family. We have good days and bad days, but it always seems to be there at a constant low level. When your stress levels are there, we don't live in a vacuum, guys. Our body is going to respond, okay? It's going to respond by raising our cortisol levels, the stress hormone. Cortisol is only supposed to go up in a fight or flight situation, in an acute situation to get you out of a bad, saber-toothed tiger is coming. It's to give you immediate energy, burn those stores, and get you to be able to run as fast as possible. What happens in this chronic stress is that those cortisol levels rise and they just stay at a baseline. It wreaks havoc with your blood sugar levels. It wreaks havoc with the way we deposit fat. It makes that little traffic circle go so fast it blows your mind. So, I can't change what's happening in the world. I can't change the civil unrest. I definitely can work on what's happening in my household. But, don't forget that there are ways that you can decrease stress, even with everything going on. I highly recommend journaling if you haven't done it. Take 5 minutes and write down 5 things you're grateful for every day. Start your day with gratitude. Start your day with appreciation. Start your day with writing down the things that are bothering you that you need to give up. Give it up to God, give it up to the world, give it up to the universe, whatever works for you, okay? I believe in God, so I'm just giving it up to God. So And it works. I can feel that stress lifting off my body. Meditation, if you haven't tried it, I really like that. There's an app called Calm, CALM. They'll give you a 10-day trial for free. It's fantastic. There's another one called Headspace. Oh, actually, I started with Calm. I switched to Headspace. But they're both fantastic, and they both have free trials. So if you've never done guided meditation through an app, there's even free stuff online you can find on YouTube. Just try it. Just commit to 7 days and commit to journaling, commit to that, because anything you can do to get those cortisol levels to come down. What's another thing that'll get your cortisol level to come down? Exercise. So for those of you who are following on the Galveston Diet page and group, we are doing for the month of July a July Jumpstart Movement Challenge. I know that so many of you have reached out to me that you just haven't had the energy, the time, even though you're home, so we've put together a series of challenges talking about the importance of exercise medically, what it can do to your stress levels, what it can do to your cortisol levels, people who exercise versus people who don't, and how they do longevity-wise, how their health is, their cardiovascular disease, their blood pressure, their stress, their depression, all of it. So, and then also I'm going live on my workouts every day if you want to follow along. You do you, though. Everybody's at different levels fitness-wise, so it is not a one-size-fits-all problem, but just increasing what you're doing to be more healthy is huge and will definitely help to lower these stress levels. So for my big three for lowering the stress, can't get rid of, I can't fix the world. I can't make the vaccine come out faster. I can't make herd immunity come faster. But I can exercise, I can meditate, and I can journal so that I can be a better person, so that my stress levels come down, so I can be a better mom, a better wife, a better parent, a better teacher for all of you guys. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to go exercise here. 15 minutes to get ready. I'll talk a long time. Feel free to share this, and you can learn more at www.galvestondiet.com. We would love to have you participate with us in our exercise challenge this month. It's free. Just check out the Galveston Diet Facebook group and page, and you'll see the post there. Have a wonderful day.